And Trina, Naomi's coming in. Okay.
He thinks everyone who's here knows everybody.
Well, no, Reno.
I know, Reno, you should know.
Perfect, then I think we're good. We're good to go.
All right.
Groovy. We'll call today's Friday, October 24th, Truckee River Flood Management Authority board meeting to order with a roll call.
All right. Donald Abbott,
Here.
Miguel Martinez, Alexis Hill,
Here.
Ed Lawson,
Here.
Naomi Dewar, Clara Andriola.
Present.
Quorum?
Awesome, thank you very much. Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Walls, will you lead us? Yes.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to item B, public comment.
I don't have any public comment on this item.
Awesome. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to make public comment? I don't see anyone. We'll go to item C, approval of the agenda for October 24th. Looking for a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Ms. Andriola. Second by Mr. Lawson. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Item D, announcements and clippings. Mr. Robeson.
Yeah, I don't have any special announcements, but this is the first time since I've been here, all the clipping. It's a long section, so we've been in the press a lot lately, and every story is about turf fund here. And that's just showing how much interest there is in some of the current activities, including the Wadsworth Bridge and the Rock McCarran design.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Robeson? I don't see one. If you have anything, Ms. Hill. Okay.
No, thank you.
I see Art had his hand up. Was that maybe back for public comment by chance?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, Art.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to item 4 on your agenda, if I may.
Yeah, go for it, Art. We'll go back to public comment for you. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. In my opinion, and I have been following.
Can you speak
Chris
up a little
Waterworth.
bit, Art? I don't know if it's on our side or we can barely hear
Okay.
you in here.
I can. Let me get my volume up. Is that better? Is that any better?
A little bit. I guess
Yeah.
maybe just speak loudly if you can.
Sure, I will do that. I
Thank
just
you.
have a comment. Okay, in my opinion, the number one asset in our region is the opportunity for great outdoors activities. When you consider our proximity to Lake Tahoe, other parts of Sierra Nevada, and our high desert, coupled with 196 park sites in Washoe County, Reno, and Sparks, these amenities add to the quality of life for our residents, businesses, and tourists. Now is a critical time to improve and expand these open spaces and make them part of our economic engine. No longer can we depend on the 1950s economic model of gambling to pay city government and county bills. Over 20 years ago, tribal gaming in California and elsewhere took a big toll on our revenue stream. Over 20 casinos have closed in Reno alone from 1990 to 2020. If California approves online gaming, which could happen within 10 years, 2 years, there will be an even bigger negative impact on our casino revenues. If built, the Penn Grove Flatfields, along with the Flatfields shown as alternative 1 within the Rock McCarran Flood Project, would generate major tournaments that could help fill vacant hotel rooms in Reno and Sparks. Well, it's not going to solve the large budget gaps in our local governments. It will be a start. In addition, rebranding our region as an outdoor enthusiast mecca could have a significant positive financial impact on our region. Our local governments need to work at paying jobs so that the new employees of these companies can afford market rate housing and enjoy the quality, our quality outdoors. But we have to improve the quality of life first. I make these statements. I'm a retired city planner specializing in economic development and redevelopment. And I'm really concerned about the shortfalls of our local governments for the reasons I just stated. And I really think that these flat fields will be a start in rebranding our region. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Awesome. Thank you, Art. Is there any other public comment while we're here on Zoom? If you could raise your hand, that'd be great. I don't see anyone. Okay. Well, thank you. We will go back. We didn't have any questions from Mr. Robeson for announcements and clipping, so that item is closed. We'll go to consent items. Looking for a motion for consent items 2A to 2D.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Andriola with a motion. Can I get a second? I almost said Mr. Rabbit. Yeah. Mr. Lawson, Mayor Lawson. The second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And let the record reflect, Mr. Martinez is here. Thank you, sir. Item 3, presentation and discussion of the auditor's financial and compliance reports and management comments for fiscal year 2024 to 2025. Possible action to accept the auditor's financial and compliance reports and management comments for FY25. Ms. Crowley.
Morning.
Mr. Sharpner, sorry.
Deborah Crowley with Truckee River Flood Management Authority, the Chief Financial Officer. I'm here with David Shopper to present the audit report, and we'll be here to answer any questions that you might have regarding the report. Again, this is for the 2024-2025 TURFMA audit. So I will let David take it.
You're good.
All right. As Deborah stated, my name is David Shopper. I'm a director with Bernard Vogler and Company. And we performed the audit of the financial statements for TURFMA for the year ending June 30th, 2025. So I believe the audit report is in the agenda book, but I'll just briefly go over the main points. There's a required audit letter in there, and it basically states we didn't come across any significant difficulties or issues, and there was no new accounting policies or anything like that. And then the meat of the financial statement, it's pretty much similar to last year. I was hoping it would be up there so I could just point out a couple.
I'm trying to bring it up. One second.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize you guys were gonna do that.
I think it's 121 is a page.
Yes, this is the letter I was referencing. There really isn't too much importance to that. And if you could go down, Marty, maybe to page 135. So I would like to point out that the financial statements were an unmodified opinion, which is the opinion you want, which just states that the financial statements are materially correct. And I would also like to point out we didn't find any internal control deficiencies or any non-compliance. Maybe 2 back. One more. And I just wanted to point out, this is the summation of the financial statements. This is the management's discussion and analysis, and it just gives a summary of the financial statements. And the reason for last year, there was a positive change in that position of 12 million, and this year there's a negative change, and that's mainly for the $16.5 million Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe payment. So I don't want to get too in depth. So is there any additional questions or specific items the board would like me to go over?
Any questions or comments from the board? I don't see any. It looks like we're good. I can't see you, Ms. Hill, but if you have your hand up or anything.
No questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Of course, of course. Cool. Then, we're good to go. I believe we're probably looking for a
They're right
motion to
outside.
accept it and so, on this board we do. Yeah, you are correct. Then no questions? I appreciate it. Since there's no questions or comments, is there any public comment for item 3?
I don't see anyone.
Perfect. And nothing on Zoom that we can see?
Nope.
Cool. Then we will come back to the board and I'm looking for a motion.
I'll move to accept the report.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you both. Item 4, presentation.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I would like to request that we do the flood awareness proclamation before this because one of the board members requested, she's at another meeting. She's trying to get over here and she wants to be here for item 4. So
Okay.
if we could move up the proclamation and as well as perhaps the website. I don't know if we'll have to, but just so that she can be here when we're doing it, because she really stressed that.
I'm good with that. Is the whole board, you guys are okay with it too?
Yeah.
Cool. And now, yeah, we can move item 5 and 6 up and give a little cushion. So item 5, proclamation and possible action to acknowledge November 9th and November 15th as Nevada Flood Awareness Week. Ms. Henderson.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this is our proclamation that we do on an annual basis. We've been involved in flood awareness for many years now. Got a lot of great partners that we work with on this event. And so I have the proclamation in your book, and if you'd like to read it and approve it, that would be great. Thank you.
Sounds good. Mr. Lawson, you want to read it?
I don't have it in front of me.
I'll get it for you.
I
Oh, yeah.
also have.
There it is. We'll have Mayor Lawson read this. He always makes us read all of
Got a
it.
deep
Council,
voice.
so,
In city council, I don't read.
yeah, so I'm gonna,
So now the tables are turned on me, Mr. Abbott.
thank you.
You'll be reading a lot more proclamations. Whereas the Truckee River Flood Management Authority recognizes the significant threat that flooding poses to our residents, our businesses, the region, and our local economy. And whereas our community has endured repeated flood events from the Truckee River watershed, including many historic floods, most notably the flood of 1997. And whereas we can reduce risk and help make community more resilient by educating residents and businesses on the actions they can take to prepare for floods. And whereas during the Nevada Flood Awareness Week, local, state, and federal agencies are working together across Nevada to inform the public about the dangers of flooding, how to protect their homes and families from a flood, and a plan for recovery. Now, therefore, the Truckee River Flood Management Authority does hereby proclaim November 9th through November 15th as Nevada Flood Awareness Week and urges all citizens to increase their awareness of the risk of floods by visiting nevadafloods.org and turfma.org to learn how to prepare and take action.
Thank you very much. That was the best proclamation I heard all day.
Perfect.
Good job.
Glad I could help you out.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Henderson. Then we'll go to item 6, presentation and discussion of the new TURFMA okay, my apologies.
Move to approve the proclamation.
Do I need to make I need public comment too, right? Can we call for public comment on item 5 for the proclamation? Is there any public comment for that?
Seeing none.
Okay, now we're good to go. Now we can make a
Second.
motion.
Move to approve the proclamation.
We have a motion by Mr. Lawson, a second by Ms. Andriola. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 6, presentation and discussion of the new TURFMA Know the Flow videos and website page, both of which address flood awareness and safety and will soon be made available to the public. The presentation may include showing all or portions of the videos and the new material available on the new website page. Ms. Swenson.
All right. Hello, everybody. Give me just a second. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So This is our new website. As part of this project, we have added a section to our webpage called Know the Flow. Know the Flow is a resource library for flood awareness in the Truckee Meadows. It contains several helpful things that people can use to navigate flood awareness in here, in the Truckee Meadows, such as flood maps. These are flood depth maps. We have highlighted our 100-year flood depth maps, which can be found by clicking on each box to find which area you live in. The full map series can be located below. There is also other resources, such as flood facts, to identify the types of flooding that we experience, information for flood safety, which helps you understand what you can do to stay safe during a flood. And then also we have a section on flood history, which provides a brief overview of flood history and features several historical photos so that people can get an idea of what floods have looked like in the past. And in addition to that, we have highlighted a presentation by the Nevada Silver Jackets, which is a story maps presentation that features interactive scroll through information. There you go. That's my presentation.
Can we play a couple of the short videos that we prepared for this?
Yes.
So they can see this. They're much shorter than the one video that we have. It could happen tomorrow, or our conserve and restore video that we did.
Yes, one moment.
So these, on each page, there's typically is a video for people to introduce them.
I don't have sound on this PC, but so this is the documentary that we made. If you wanted me to play the videos perhaps later in the meeting, we can jump back to that. I don't have the ability to present sound on this PC presentation.
Okay, that's fine. But just to let you know, we have 6 different videos that are very short, and they go into each section, like know where you stand. It's the videos about knowing where you stand, a mitigation, that one about levees and terraces. That there's a video on everything. They're about 30 seconds, and it allows people that don't want to read about it just to get into this. So we're trying to make this way more open-ended for people that want to learn about this stuff but maybe don't want to read a bunch of text about it. So that's one of the things that we were doing, and we were asked to do that a while back by the board to get better at this and provide videos and things like that. So there's Know the Flow right there. So anyways, I think we're done, and now we have Naomi here,
You have
our
to toss it back.
Commissioner.
Let the record show Mr. Martinez and
Council.
Naomi Dewar are here.
Yeah.
I had explained that I wasn't going to be able to make one. Try
Yeah.
to get here as soon as possible.
We actually pushed ahead on a couple of things so that you'd be here
Okay,
for
thank
number
you.
4.
I was gonna try to help this.
Okay, all right.
I have a quick question, Mr. Chair. Well,
Go for it.
the tech person or the chair? Which one should I? Anyway, I just have a quick question. Because it looks like these videos are short enough to share on social media, I'm guessing that's happening as well.
So we jumped
Okay.
over the,
So our plan for this rollout is to have the short films featured both on social media and perhaps in local news on TV channels and stuff as a way to lead people back to our site and then help increase flood awareness in the Truckee Meadows. And we're working on a way to get you some sound right now. So
we haven't done-
if you want to just hold on and give us a minute, we can try to
I
present
was
them.
just curious how it was being shared,
Of course, yeah.
just the videos itself. So
We're going to work on more of that direct rollout as the Flood Awareness Week approaches.
thank you.
Yeah, you're missing out on hearing Chairman Abbott say, "Get a bag," so gotta do that. Gotta have a bag. Gotta have a go bag. Go to Know the Flow. Right there, yeah.
Okay. This is the main page of our website. It features the documentary that we made earlier this year called It Could Happen Tomorrow. Here is one of the first in the series of videos that we have. I'm just gonna, hopefully, there we go.
And our future. With these 2.5 billion. That's how much estimated damage can be caused by a major flood event in the Truckee Meadows. The Truckee River Flood Management Authority is taking action with a proposed plan to build levees and terraces while restoring wetlands and floodplains. Projects that are designed to protect our river, our community, and our future. With these projects, we can help prevent billions in possible flood damage across Truckee Meadows. Smart planning, stronger communities, safer futures. Learn more at turfma.org/knowtheflow. 2.5 billion. That's how.
There we go. Would you like to play another video?
That was nice.
Yeah, let's do another, and the idea is this would be on social media as well, so it's driving people back to the website.
Okie dokie. Let me get you started.
Look calm today, but in a storm, everything changes. Heavy rain and fast snow melt can turn a peaceful, dangerous flood. In Reno, floods can strike with little warning. Don't wait until it's too late. Know where you stand. Do you live in a floodplain? Check this map to learn more. Sign up for local alerts, watch river conditions, and have an emergency plan ready. Know the flow. Stay informed, stay safe. Learn more at turfma.org/knowtheflow. The Truckee River may look calm today, but it is.
All right. So yes, every video in this series is a short video presentation intended for, taglining in social media or over a TV. And essentially the purpose of these videos is just to guide people to our site, just increase flood awareness, try to prevent flood amnesia, and, give additional resources.
Thanks, Marty. Any other questions or comments on, since we got to watch the videos? Yeah, Ms. Stewart.
I mean, fabulous. Really good job. It's really, really nice. I hope that they can get off the webpage too and into other places, whether it's, I don't know.
Yes,
Ask
actually.
Dawn.
So if you go, this is going to roll out over the weekend, by the way. This is the early preview. If you go into flood safety, which is being prepared, we have links to several other resources down here, like the Flood After Fire guide, so on and so forth. And we tried to make it like a network hub so that everyone can find as many resources as possible.
Right, and then I'm just expressing that I'd love to see them out on social media in other ways, not just on our website, but maybe out on, Instagram, Facebook, et cetera, wherever, and WhatsApp.
That's the plan.
Good, I love it.
I think we're getting kind of a preview before it went live.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the idea is to use these short videos to drive people to the website.
Sure.
That know where you stand, you can find out on this website, that kind of thing.
Do we have somewhere on there that would help, I think the GIS for the county for sandbag locations?
Yes.
Okay,
So we are
perfect.
tying into the county's sandbag location. As of right now, we still feature our map, but we have the previous sandbag locator that we had on our website.
Awesome.
And we get a ton of traffic for our sandbags for whatever reason. It's kind of the go-to place for that for whatever reason.
Well, because it's called Flood.
Yeah, okay.
Good SEO right
The
there.
only group called Flood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Any other questions or comments on this one? Ms. Andriola.
All I'm going to say is probably the obvious, and that is just speaking again to the social media. When there is weather, or at least projected weather, and then, for instance, if sandbags, like the timing of some of these things can coincide with a lot of things I'm sure you guys have already thought of. So it is really great. And thanks for making it so interactive and, easy to navigate, and not having pages and pages of text. That's the world we live in, right? Everybody wants pictures. We're back to kindergarten of flipping picture. That's what our life is right now. So thanks for doing it. It looks great. A great job.
Thank you very much. And we're going to be sending out more messaging about this soon.
Welcome to Washoe Life, our Washoe County podcast about people who live here and telling their story. What they do, how does it affect them.
bonus.
Sorry, I clicked it.
All good. Awesome.
right.
Thanks, Marty. Good job.
All right.
Cool. I don't see any possible action here, so we should be good.
It's informational.
We'll close that item and we'll go to item 4, presentation and discussion of alternative design criteria for the Rock to McCarran design project that are needed to advance the project design level. The presentation and discussion will focus primarily on the nature park plan and the hybrid nature park recreation complex plan, alternatives, and the public comments that have been received regarding those draft designs. Possible action to select the nature park plan or the hybrid nature park / recreation complex plan or some combination thereof as the basis for the further project design or to provide other direction to staff. Mr. Robeson and yeah.
Okay, I'd like to,
Rogers,
we'll just
yeah.
go up there together. We'll be the
chairs.
3 amigos that get grilled.
I know why we have 3 chairs.
So Marty, if you can start that slideshow, then we can, we'll start there and work off that. Okay, great. So I guess you'll be forwarding the slides, Marty? Is that how we're gonna do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
just let me know and I'll thumb forward for you.
Okay, great. So first of all, just to bring this up as an introduction, the Rock McCarran project, this has now been going on for, since last, I believe we started in June, right? Last June. So it's been over a year now. And we are getting to the spot of where we got to make some decisions to move forward. We made some big decisions on the alternatives analysis about the river. And the beginning of this is that for people that are a little less used to this or seen this before, is this is part of a larger flood project called the Meadows Flood Project, which consists of 7 or 8 different units, one of which is Rock McCarran. It goes from the freeway, actually above the freeway there at Lake Street, all the way down to Vista Narrows. The idea here is in a regular flood, everything in green and blue is flooded in a 100-year flood. But if you build the Meadows Flood Project, all those areas in green would be taken out. And that includes big parts of the airport, the Reno industrial area, the Sparks industrial area, and some neighborhood housing as well. So the amount of that damage is in the range of over $2 billion if we had a big flood like the 97 flood again. With this in place, all that area in green would not be damaged by something like the 97 flood. So that makes it, a big potential cost savings if we have a flood and this project is stood up. So that's why it's needed. It's to protect us economically. And it's a big deal. In 1997, as many of our board members know, there were many people that lost their jobs, people that lost their businesses, people that had their homes damaged, and so on. And it really put a big dent in our economy for quite some time. So we do not want to see that repeated. So when we talk about the Rock McCarran, we have 3 goals in mind. And the primary goal is flood management, trying to prevent flooding because it protects on both sides, both the Sparks industrial area to the north and to the south, the Reno industrial area, and even parts of the airport. So that is our number one issue there. But in the meantime, with all the land that we have there, the fact that we have room to let this river move around a bit and be more natural and have natural terraces and also be able to build things in a way that isn't so hard, if you will, like the LA River or something like that. We are also doing ecosystem restoration. And on top of that, in the outer areas, there's an opportunity, actually the whole area is recreational because it's a nature park area. But in the outer areas, there's a choice between continuing that nature park concept or going for the full nature park plus a recreational complex that would have ball fields for soccer, lacrosse, ultimate frisbee. Got to say that because I've been hearing a lot about that lately. And so that's the kind of the overview of this. Next slide, please. So one of the things that I want to stress is that we have had a ton of public interaction on this. We had a public meeting at McKinley Arts Center that was pretty well attended, and our working groups have been very well attended. One had at one point 88 people in the working group and generated over 200 comments, written comments. So overall, we had 270 comments from 245 unique sources. So some people like to vote early and often, and some people like to do comments early and often, but 245 unique comments from, when you break it down to person by person. And out of those 245 comments, there was a lot of passion about different things. And the two major issues were, do we want to have a sports complex with ball fields and more developed active recreational activities, or do we want to make this more like a trailhead park and expand the nature concept from the river area, which is about 100 acres, into the 60 or 70 acres that is the detention basin on the south end down by Mill Street. So with that, there were, like I said, 245 unique comments. Out of those, about, I think it was 52% were, let me read this carefully. 52% were actually very obviously saying, we want a sports complex, we want ball fields. 44% were advocating for a more natural approach. 4% were neutral, or they were asking questions about other issues. So that's the way it broke out. But literally both sides have more than 100 comments about this in writing, plus numerous oral comments, which in our report, our Appendix B, is a kind of a summary of all the oral comments, which kind of mirrored in the kind of percentages what we saw in the written comments. So with that, I mean, that gives you an overview of what the comments were like, and I bet we'll hear some more comments here today as well. Next slide, please. So I'm going to give it over to Shane Dyer with JUB Engineers, and he will walk you through where we're at in our process and how this recreational part fits in.
Yeah, thanks, George. George wanted me to give an update on how the design has been going and the progress that we've made. And you can see up there, the alternative analysis, we've completed that, and we've been marching towards this 30% design. And in that 30% design, we've really been focusing on the flood hydraulics, the river channel, the levee, the berm, and then recreation, which recreation has really been the more public element, but there's a ton of work that's going on with actually optimizing the river itself. So next slide. This is kind of as a reminder, it's been a while since we've shown these in a board meeting, I think. So this is just the average low flow, 350 CFS. This is what the river will look like normally in most of the time with those activated side channels. And there's your kind of your inundation on a normal summer day. Next slide. This is the 5-year event, about 6,000 CFS when we're really getting some major flows into the river. We've got activation of the terraces and up on the side, the floodplain area up on the sides. And it's starting to fill up. Next slide. And now we have the full activation of the attenuation basin where it goes over the intermediate berm and would actually flood the proposed recreation area. So this is your full attenuation where we're holding back some of the flood, reducing the flows downstream and stopping the flooding from all the surrounding areas. Next slide. So this is probably a little too much detail that we put in here. So I'm just kind of going to burn through this, but this goes through a bunch of the improvements that we've been working on. Like we've really been focusing on all the fine details now in the design itself. Like when do we activate the terraces? Where are the wetland and where are the riparian zones going to be? How is the habitat going to be? What's the river shading like in the different areas? Next slide. You know, we've changed some of the ponding areas to actual flow through areas and, you know, really worked on that fish habitat as well as the riparian habitat. We shifted some of the alignments where there was places where there could be avulsion from the river into the side channels. So we've really optimized looking at also like terrace, the protection, like the riprap protection and working with the velocities in the river and the depths to try and keep the river as designed. Next slide. We've added a number of channels and complexity to the habitat and really focused on optimization for, you know, now that we've got the flood, part of it is also optimizing the levees themselves and the internal berm, but we've got the flood handled. So now we're really working on that second goal of optimizing the ecosystem with the different terracing habitat and the riparian habitat and then the in-river habitat as well. And then looking at all the velocities that go along with that and the wetting, like when does the wetting happen and how does the wetting affect the different ecosystems and different areas on the flooding. Next slide. And I think really this last one just talks about how we did the approach. We improved the approach going under McCarran Bridge. But I think really what we're trying to say here is that there's been a lot of work and a lot of complexity that's gone into the design. And we're not even done with this 30% design, but we've put a lot of effort into a really sound engineered design. And next slide.
And so here we're going to put it over to Andy Durling with Wood Rogers, who is leading the charge with our recreation designs. And we'll talk about the two options and some of the things that went into the design itself. And we'll let you go with that.
Great. Thanks. For the record again, Andy Durling with Wood Rogers. We've been tasked with the Parks and Recreation design side of this. And where, you know, Shane shared that, you know, they're nearing kind of completion on a 30% design. We're behind that. We kind of ride the coattails of the engineering on this as they design the levees and the grading that is associated with all of that. And so we're a little bit behind, but that's just the natural sort of state of this process. And so we're at what we would call a 15% design phase, just a little bit more than a concept. As we kind of go through the design process and we get to 30, 60, and then actually construction documents for this, you know, along the way, we'll be engaging this board as well as your TAC and the public to continue to gather and incorporate feedback into the design process. And as we go through, you know, just a kind of cute little exhibit there or image there, you know, as we get closer, obviously the design gets a lot clearer, the costs get a lot clearer too. Next slide. So we didn't start from scratch. There's been a lot of work that's been done on this particular property, but then kind of as you know, in the city of Reno in particular as a whole, most recently. So back in 2011, the Truckee River Conceptual Recreation Master Plan was completed. That had extensive public outreach and identified a number of recreational needs and goals for this property in particular. As a community as a whole in Northern Nevada, we've really not kept up with the recreational needs, and I'm not saying anything out of turn there. Our population's grown considerably over the last 15 years, but we've not had any large regional parks that have been constructed. The city of Sparks in 2008 built the Golden Eagle Regional Park. That was kind of the last really major recreation facility that's been built in the region. Fast forward to just a couple years ago, the city of Reno updated their Parks Master Plan. They identified a few goals in there that are applicable to this project. One in particular is that the city as a whole is short about 45 flat fields. They have a deficit of 45 flat fields, and access to the river is a primary goal for that. So as we take all of that into consideration from those past planning efforts and implement it into this design effort, we kind of distill it down to this one major goal that all of the design elements are floodable and flexible. And so you'll kind of sense a theme of that as we go through this. Next slide. So we took that 2011 master plan and distilled it down into this series of design goals for this project. So these are our kind of, what our guiding principles are for this design effort. Safe and convenient access to the river, a trail system along the river, gathering spaces for cultural events, turf fields for outdoor sports, learning more about the Truckee River, and then providing infrastructure to support these new recreation facilities. If you think about, bathrooms, parking, things like that. Next slide. So we've developed two alternatives. As George said, one is just sort of a nature park concept. So really it's the differing factor is south of that intermediate berm there. So in the river corridor north of that intermediate berm, it's a nature park. It's, there are recreational opportunities within that, but by and large, it's a natural environment. And so whether in the nature park concept, we would just kind of continue that south of the intermediate berm. Kind of think, local context here, something like an Oxbow Park or something like that. It would be that type of experience. Or alternative would be to utilize the area south of the intermediate berm for more of a traditional recreation, sports recreation complex. The 2011 plan had actually conceptualized some baseball fields and things like that in the plan. We have not gone that direction and gone more with the flat fields, taking into account obviously the deficit that we have of those facilities. Also from a floatable and flexible standpoint, backstops and dugouts and things like that for baseball fields aren't really conducive to withstanding flood flows and things like that from time to time. So we developed these two concepts and then put them through that filter of the design goals that came out of the original plans. And so we have this matrix here on the bottom and, on the left side are all of those various elements, improving access to the river, trails, providing playgrounds and amenities, outdoor events, recreation, sports fields. And so when you go down the list, the nature park checks a lot of the boxes, but obviously doesn't check more of those kind of traditional park features like a playground facility or sports fields. And the hybrid option on the right is able to check all of those boxes. Next slide. So understanding that reading plans is difficult for a lot of people outside of our professional realms. And so we developed some cross sections to help kind of the public at large better visualize what this could look like. And so this is more of kind of an engineered cross section that's on the screen here. On the bottom image, there's a red line. And if you track the red line, that's where the section's being cut through. So it's the larger kind of portion of this park area. So there you'll see kind of the multiple channels as Shane shared along there, the intermediate berm, and then the flat area, which could be this park feature. Next slide. And then we did it as more of an illustrative type cross section. And we have kind of a fun thing if Marty can click on the YouTube link. So this is just kind of an animation of that cross section you see as we go from the north side heading south, some of that initial secondary channel, the second secondary channel here. Also along the bottom there, a scale to give you an idea as well as flood depths. So now we're getting into some of these, the areas that would be more like riparian, revegetation, islands, if you will, before we get to the main channel here. And then additional access to the river. You see the fisherman there with his access to the river as we come to this intermediate berm, which would have a trail on top of it as well. And then we get into what could be this linear park feature before you get into more of the kind of sports complex itself. So here's your flat fields, lights on them. You see a little lacrosse player, it could be soccer, obviously. So this is the large kind of expanse of those flat fields before you get to the large levee with the trail on top next to Mill Street. So just a little bit better and easier to visualize. Next slide. So here we're just going to kind of summarize the recreational needs are kind of shown in the legend there, and just to kind of walk through it a little bit. In the nature park concept, those red diamonds are showing opportunities for safe access to the river. Just to highlight, those could be fishing access. It could also be like opportunities. So if you look on the left side of your screen, there's this parking lot there. You could walk a short distance on some nice trails, get to that far left or far west red diamond there. Set into the river, float the river this whole length. It's quite a decent distance, about a mile, I think, until you get to the far right side of the screen. There's another dot there that you could take out, walk along the nice trail along the intermediate berm, and float it again. And so those opportunities are there. You'll see kind of throughout the different colored dashed lines of all the different trail systems from on the north side, the Tahoe Regional Bike Path that would be constructed on top of the levee, to the kind of orange lines are more depictive of, kind of more natural path type features. The purple squares we have on there are opportunities for outdoor cultural events, albeit, obviously at a smaller scale, but you would still have opportunities for folks to gather in, it could be a small farmers markets, things like that, opportunities for that. It could be opportunities to, go and gather and learn about the river. The McCarran Bridge is a very popular field trip location for kids in Washoe County to go watch the bats fly out in the evenings. So that's an opportunity, to have gathering spaces for those groups as they go out and witness that. And then last, learning about the Truckee River. So kind of along the trail system, we'd have interpretive signage and things like that to educate folks about the river itself. And then lastly is this goal of having sufficient infrastructure. So we do have, the red kind of dash line would be our internal circulation of roadways, driveways, and connecting a couple of small parking lots. In this concept, only a couple hundred maybe parking spaces total to facilitate the recreational visitors. And then bathrooms and things like that would be incorporated with that as well. Next slide. So here's the hybrid option. Everything again on the north side of the intermediate berm, really by and large the same, right? Access to the river, interpretive elements of learning about the river, all of those things kind of stay the same. Really, it's just kind of south of the berm that gets a lot more intense, quite frankly. So this is, we've got, upwards of 10 or 11 potential flat fields that are championship size. We're showing them kind of individually here, but on the right side there where you see the large mass of those fields, that would all just be a large turf area. So you'd have grass in between. So it becomes, it could be used for a lot of different things. And so we're showing there, that's an opportunity for gathering spaces. Rancho San Rafael has the Dragon Lights, things like that, events that could happen on those large turf areas. This would provide an opportunity for that. That's, above and beyond what the nature park option could provide. Again, the trails throughout, we do have kind of in the center portion there, it's not highlighted very well, but sort of a linear park feature that could have some play structures. It's not going to be your traditional, jungle gym type elements, but it would be more kind of the sculpted rocks or animals, things like that, where kids and families can interact and climb on and play with. But again, going back to our goal of being floodable and flexible, we need to kind of be cognizant of what types of vertical features we're putting in here. The on-site circulation with the red line there, and obviously the parking lots that are shown in gray, depicted in gray, quite a bit more. We would need to park quite a few more people here. We've got, upwards of 800 to 900 parking spaces to accommodate for 10 to 11 fields. This obviously opens up a lot of different opportunities. You know, we talk about these cultural events, like I mentioned earlier. It also has the opportunity, this is, you know, a congregation of a lot of fields in one place. So we would have opportunities for tournaments and things like that. And so we've accommodated in the middle of the large field areas for, you know, concession type building would be difficult, but there would be opportunity for sort of like a food truck court and picnic type areas so that you could still accommodate for, you know, tournament check-in, you know, vendors to have more, you know, not permanent structures, but, you know, pop-up structures, things like that, as well as food vendors too. So those opportunities have been thought of as well in this concept. Next slide. And I'll pass it back to George.
All right, thanks. That was, wow, a lot of information there. So here we get to the cost analysis. So everything was put out, and this is what we call full build out. So this would be each option, all the different optional activities, everything's included there. So this is just the overview here. Concept 1, nature park. Concept 2, nature park plus recreational complex. And the idea here is one is 15 to 17 million, one is 26 to 29 million. And the difference between them on the you know, the determinative number is about 11.5 million with full build out. So the notes there are important. Both concepts include 5.6 million in common amenities, including a 3.5 million bridge. We've looked at that bridge a little bit more, and it doesn't look like we really should be building another bridge in that section. First of all, we have two pedestrian bridges already near the McCarran Bridge, one on the downstream end and one on the upstream side of the bridge. Secondly, it's really difficult to put a bridge in there with all the complexity and the width that we have without messing up the hydraulics and causing us to have to build higher levees and things like that. So the bridge probably shouldn't have been in there in the first place, but it's something we carried for a while. So if you pull that out, that makes each of these less. There's also, it includes the 1.7 million for asphalt levy on top of each of the levees, which was going to be done anyways. That is recreational, but it was something that was going to be done anyways to protect the levee top and also because of the Pyramid Tahoe Bikeway as well. Transportation costs are also included in this number. One is 2 million for the nature park because it doesn't have as many parking spots or as complicated a driveway system. And then the sports complex has 4.7 million because of the extra roads and extra parking places that are involved. And the fifth thing, it sounds obvious, but it's important to say this. As the design progresses, costs will be refined. When we're dealing with this sort of thing, we have lots of unknowns and contingencies. As we get to it, it tightens up a lot more. Next slide, please. So when we look at these big numbers, we get to the point of where we start to break this stuff down. And you can see here, you've got an optional pedestrian bridge and the fact that the asphalt is also included. If you take those out, the additional cost of recreational things in the river corridor part could be as low as $341,000. And, you know, as we look at what we're doing, we're not going to be doing the bridge just for other reasons anyways. But as we start to look at that, the costs are not as steep on that particular issue. Next slide, please. So this one here, I'm sorry it's so busy, but there's a lot of things going on here. This is the nature park. What I want to, let's bring it out and then go down to the note down there if you're going to blow up the note at the bottom. Yeah. So the elevated walkway and the step spillway gathering is optional. There's two options there. They each are budgeted at 1.5 million. You take those two out of there, the cost goes down by 3 million. And then you look at the rest of this and you get to a cost of less than $8 million just by taking out the two optional things. We haven't even got into like, okay, what exactly do we need here? Can we phase some of this? Could some of this be financed differently than the flood funds? So there's all that considered. We're at the 15% level here, but at this point, it gives you the difference, that we know that one is more expensive than the other by about 11.5 million. But it's important to note that stuff, that there is optional stuff in here with this nature park option, those two in particular, that cost $3 million in total. Next slide, please. Another very busy slide, and I want to focus on the notes, and we can blow into a given thing here and there if we want to. But first of all, as we talked about, the river corridor can be reduced by not doing the bridge and realizing that the asphalt was there all along. The lighting can be reduced. This has full build out for the fields to be lit. The fields can be seeded versus turf. Turfing them using roll-on turf is more expensive. The playground can be phased. These savings can put this well under $20 million right there. However, what I talked about with our TAC, what I'm going to talk to you about here is the idea is to start with the full build out to allow for community support of variable options or for grants or other funding or perhaps suitable funding from TURFMA financing. If looking at what we have today in our finances, and I'm going to push that up till the November meeting, we have, we have roughly $70 million saved up again. We've got all the money back that we did for the mitigation projects agreement with the tribe. So we're already back to 70 million, and we continue to build money. And if you look at what we can put into the mitigation project per year, it is if the current conditions stay, we can afford this. Now, if we have 15% inflation per year, no. If the interest rates go up by 3 or 4%, no. But in these current conditions, if they hold, we do likely have enough money to actually do all this. And it's not like this is all new stuff. If we either one of these options, this is in the Living River plan, this is in the locally preferred plan and the rate plan. We have had this annex of recreation in these plans the whole time, one way or the other. The question here is, which way do you want to go? And, and can we at least design this? Because the extra cost to design, a design with everything in it versus some sort of design that's taken a lot of stuff out of it. And we're already going to take the bridge out of it, but that change in design is de minimis. It's in the tens of thousands of dollars at the most. So at the design phase, it's not going to cost more to do the full build out. But as time goes on, if we are strapped financially, that's when we will have to do these other things. So that would be as an executive director trying to inform you, that's what I would tell you with either of these options. Whichever one you choose or whatever combination you choose, you do the full build out. And if we start running out of money, that's where we phase it out, or we cut it out, or we say, look, if you really want this or that, help us out. So that's the kind of approach that we took with this, or I took with this when going through all these different numbers to see what could be taken out easily and still have a functional park, or what we could do, what the possibilities are of what we can do. And like I said, in November, I will be sharing our strategic plan and the kind of the base data for our capital improvements plan so that you can see where we're at financially on all this. But for now, at the 15%, I am recommending that you, whichever one you choose to design for full build out, and we can take away later as we, if there's some sort of financial problem. Next slide. So another consideration that came up many different times in the meetings with TAC, as well as the working groups, is the operational maintenance consideration. And the key thing there is, historically, recreation complexes have more potential to self-sustain on O&M. So that's a big thing. And I think it's one of the big reasons why the Technical Advisory Committee voted unanimously to go with the sports complex option. There is, other options with the nature park, but that may be more difficult to keep up on and may require funds from the outside over time to keep up the O&M, the operation and maintenance. And I think that is the last slide, am I right? No, one more. This would be the possible motion, but for now, I think you guys should discuss this and ask a lot of questions. I don't think we're at that point yet. And we probably have a lot of public comment, or some at least.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions or comments currently? Yeah, Ms. Stewart, go for it.
Thanks. I love the plan, and I just wanted a couple detailed questions that there hasn't been a moment to ask. And that is, the flood project built a number of restoration areas downstream of Vista. And then at Vista, we're planning to put terraces, and I'm not sure if there's also vegetation plan there. Yes. So, and then in the section between Vista, like along UNR Farm, I don't know what's planned there. Is it just river as it is today? I mean, I know it has a 12-foot cut bank or maybe more now.
We need to do some design work on that.
Okay.
To really come up with
So
something.
upstream, here we have this piece. This is the next and last piece, because after this, I mean, the flood project doesn't widen rivers or meander. And I just had one or two questions. So I was just wondering, in the other restoration areas, I don't think that they have like this braided channel. They have a wider channel, and they have sandbars, and they have different amenities that help the river do better. I just wondered where the braided portion came from. Is that considered like a best practice, or is that what fits there? I mean, I just was wondering.
That's a very insightful question. And when you look downstream in some of our areas like the 108 Ranch or Mustang or something like that, the gradient and conditions are different.
Gotcha.
It's using the same principles, but at that point, right where that point is, and we did talk about this a little bit in the alternatives analysis, but I wouldn't expect everybody to catch that real fast, But right where we're at Rock McCarran, there's a transition from higher gradient to lower gradient. And it creates somewhat of a depositional zone, which leads to wanting the river wants to braid and spread out.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's why there's side channels.
I was curious.
Yeah, and to keep that kind of managed so that we have good shading over them and habitat. Now,
And keep trees, I guess, and.
yeah, we're keeping actually the way it's braided and designed. We're trying to save all the native large trees.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And then I was just wondering where it comes back together going under McCarran Bridge. Now, I didn't know, are you widening it at all there, or is it staying as it is?
At McCarran Bridge, our current design is proposing, and I might let Shane take this one away in a minute, but we are proposing to do a walkway on the south side like there is on the north side. And so we would be cleaning out a little bit of area to get a little more capacity under the bridge, and also have a walkway under the bridge that can connect to that.
Connect trail underneath
into that one walkway there, the
I see.
red bridge,
Yeah.
so that we can connect to the
Okay.
Tahoe Reno.
And then you mentioned something about, there wasn't room for, or there wasn't plan for concession stand, you bring in food trucks or whatever, but I am kind of wondering about, if we go with the flat fields, what the provision for bathrooms would be. Is it porta potties or is it,
No,
what would
so
it be?
We're anticipating having restroom facilities,
Oh.
so there are manufacturers out there that actually
Make
do-
floodable.
Yep. Yeah, there are floodable restroom facilities.
Is it like the the Portland Loo where it's open on the bottom maybe where water can go under and
I don't know those
fully
specifics, but yeah,
stainless
there
steel
are.
and
Yeah, that's just.
easy to clean?
Yep, exactly.
They're
Okay.
vented, so they're not fully open. They are buildings, but they're vented buildings
Uh-huh.
with a certain square footage, and they have to allow a certain flow through the building.
Right,
So as long as flow can go through the building
Okay.
with these large flood vents,
yeah.
then they can be approved by FEMA.
Gotcha. And then I guess my last question, where the cooperative extension was and where I think it's called the bike project or the Rotary Bike Project or
Kiwanis.
Kiwanis, thank you. Sorry, not Rotary, sorry, Kiwanis. Have you done any analysis of keeping that building? I know that various people at various times have invested in the structure, all the inside in various ways. It's not as it was when we purchased it. It is better. I didn't know if there was a thought on keeping it, having the levee go around it in some way,
Okay. And, okay, so we have,
inside.
the Sparks Kiwanis has been
Yes,
in there, and they've been using it for a bike project, and they
Right.
do great things. They get bikes from the burners when they leave town. They fix the bikes up, they give some to kids.
Yeah.
Then they resell it to
Right.
burners later. So they're kind of recycling these bikes so
Right.
they're not wasted and thrown away.
sure.
So it's a great project, so nothing bad about that. The issue with the building is it was built in 1975. It was a cinder block building. The roof is failing right now. And it may, or, I heard something that there may be an asbestos issue if we open that thing up and try to do anything to improve that building. So you've got a asbestos abatement, you got a roof that's falling apart. It's an old cinder block building that's basically falling apart.
Okay, I just wanted
Yeah,
to,
but we
I
have
haven't heard
talked
it ever
with them.
discussed, so.
No, we have discussed it quite a bit with the Kiwanis people. And they've actually said, why can't you just build a levee around our building? And that, when you look at that, and I did look at it myself, I didn't ask the consultant to do that, but one of the problems is it bulges out into the area where the flat fields would be, or even in the nature park area. And so you have to modify the roadway. You have to have curves on the levee itself, which costs more. So it's
Okay.
really an expensive solution that takes away, if you went the ball field
I'm not
option.
pressing, I just wanted to know,
I'm
I just
trying to
had never
explain
heard
to
it
you.
talked about.
Yeah, I am talking about it. I'm
Okay.
not challenging you. I'm
Yeah.
trying to explain.
I'm
Yeah.
not even advocating, I just
Yeah.
wanted to know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do have, Mr. Chair, I know I've taken a long time. I have one more question, but I don't know if other people would like to speak before I ask it. It's not very long, but still.
I think go for it.
Go for it. I was just wondering, and I think everybody's wondering, maybe you've explained it in other forms, how is the plan to go over the berm and get to where these flat fields would be if we go that route? Or even the trails? How would you enter from Mill Street onto the property?
Well, I'm going to actually let Shane talk about that. I have the answer, but
Oh.
Yeah,
I think
you
he'll
can-
do it better.
You can actually see the grading in that last slide, but what happens is we put a little, you go linear, so you go up the side of the berm and then down the side of the berm.
Okay,
You don't go like straight at it perpendicular.
yeah,
You go
more
up the
like
side and down the side.
okay, like you walk a trail, up a hill.
Yeah, it's kind of sideways up a hill and then sideways down a hill.
Okay,
So yeah,
I
if
just
you
couldn't
go
quite
back
tell.
a couple slides to where the flood, where we show it's easy to see right there, and then zoom in on like the mill in Edison.
But anyway, I get it. I mean, that, I suspected that, but I wasn't,
Closer, right there.
yeah.
I don't know if I can.
So you'd sort of go up and then down
It'll let me zoom.
Yeah, do you see it?
on an angle.
Do you see like how right there, there's the ramp that goes up and over on the right-hand
The
side?
black. The black, right?
It's red.
Red.
Here, let me get my
Red on
laser
red.
pointer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I get the concept, so I don't need more. I was sure, I've had this question for a long time, so I just thought I'd ask it.
Yeah.
And Ms. Stewart, too, on the bathrooms, I actually, on one of these slideshows as well as in our packet, they do call out floodable restrooms.
Right.
Which I was curious, is about $150,000. And it looks like there's 5 of them in there. So just wanted to add that too.
And they would be tied into sewer.
Yes.
Because the
That's the
Portland
plan.
loos, I know, cost more like $250, not $150. They're tied into sewer, so there might have been cost elevation in the interim. Who knows?
There are competitors to the Portland Loo.
Make it
that-
cheaper.
And one of them's actually local to Nevada, so they might have been costing on that one versus the other.
That's good. Thank you.
Any other, yeah, Ms. Andriola.
Thank you. Thanks for your presentation and your thoroughness, and all of the time spent on this is definitely amazing. But what I didn't see, and my question is directly related to, I'm clear on understanding that what's before us is to look at choosing which option, if you will, but with the intent of it being a full build design. That's what I'm hearing. And so what I didn't hear, though, is what is the projected time? And here's where I'm coming from on this question. Because no one has a crystal ball. No one can tell what the economy is going to do, what things are going to look like. There's some contingencies that you shared that if it does go, there's a possibility based on the 70 million, for instance, that is available for another opportunity to look at for financing, whatever it might be. But I'm wondering what that time frame is in terms of having it for whatever the selection is for the full build design, and then what that would look like in terms of timing to actually start it, and those contingencies, if they do come into play, where is that planning? Because what I also heard is, depending on what the market looks like and what the economy looks like and the costs look like, we can't predict any of that, that there is adjustments that could be made before the actual shovel hits the dirt, to a certain extent, just to make my question kind of clear. So.
Yeah, Marty, can you go back to it'd be about the 5th slide? And it's
missed
like
it,
a
I
step,
apologize.
it's a step thing.
On the right side.
About the 5th, a couple slides back. There, okay. So this
I
is,
missed it.
this is the process all the
I've got an
way.
F on this question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but this assumes things, right? And in November, the November meeting, that is what I'm going to focus on, is the financing and schedule of the whole project. But for now, because I'm keep looking at Mike. But we do have this slide here, and it kind of shows you, we're looking at a 2027, 28 timeframe on this. And we've had should have said this in the announcements, we've had some very good news with our permitting recently. And that really speeds us up quite a bit. And in November, I'll be asking you guys to go to final design on Vista because of what happened with the permitting on the most recent email. So, and that was during the shutdown that email came. I was shocked. So anyways, the point is.
Go figure.
Yeah, go figure. Yeah, go fish.
Government works better when it's shut down?
No, I'm not going there. I'm just telling you that a lot of this is financing, and it's also the permitting. And with the permitting, I think we have a opportunity now to go after the final design of Vista. Vista has to be built first. Then after that, this would probably be our second project because it protects both sides and because it's downstream and it's highly impacted by GSR and Tumwa and the airport. So we want to build this one before we build those three. So anyways, that's what I'm thinking on this. And like I said, the slides are self-explanatory there, but yeah, we've got to get through the design, then we're gonna have to go into permitting, and then we're gonna have to work on the financing, not yet, but soon, and make sure that we have this all covered. And my opinion is we do have currently, if we use CPI inflation, if the interest rates stay fairly stable, they don't have to go down, but if they stay about where they are now, we have enough money to do either the nature park or the sports complex option right now. Something goes wrong, that can change. And so I think we have to have a head on a swivel, but for now, I think we should do full build out in the design, because it doesn't cost that much in the design to go full build out versus something else.
So for the finance, may I have a follow-up? Please? So for the finance piece, I mean, I don't have the slide up there, but I think it was the 2026, 27 for the final design and permitting, if I remember right, step 4. So is there a possibility when it comes time for the finance piece, is that going to be coming in November? How can you, you're losing me and I apologize. I might not be following because you're saying that the Vista is coming first. This is, essentially the design is going to move forward, whatever the option that's selected. But the cost build out from the time the cost projections are could change, right? That's just the nature of the world we live in. So is there, and maybe you're already thinking about bringing back something that could essentially even be locked in so we don't get into a situation of overextending finances and picking something that may not be affordable. So that's wherever that's falling, I'm guessing that is either the 25-26 period or the 26-27 period. If you're looking at where the finance, because I'm hearing that you're bringing back finance in November.
Yeah, and that's for the entire project, not just for Vista. I mean, not just for Rock McCarran.
Oh, for everything.
Yeah, because these all go together. You can't just when you're talking about financing, permitting, all that, they have to all go together.
Okay.
And the sequencing is important as well, because you don't want to do one that will cause damage to another one before it's built. So all that has to be considered. And so that's what we're going to do in November to talk about. But one of the things that you should see there is all those different steps that we had. Each one of those steps is a board approval, like approve the 60% design, approve the final design, approve a construction contract, and at each of those points, there's off-ramps. You could phase, you can say, maybe there's a private donor that could help. There's off-ramps, or if the finances are there, we go straight ahead to do the whole thing. So it just, like I said, there's many different off-ramps. Like with Wadsworth, we had off-ramps all along their way there. And we could have said, oh, we'll wait to build this bridge. It's a little high right now. We could have said that, we didn't. But, we could have done that.
And there's nothing, just as the last question, there's nothing that would preclude the board from considering looking at outside funding in terms of, I know you talked about grants and what have you, but even setting up a restricted account, for instance, to help support the project, especially with the community and whatever the design is, that could actually have a donation opportunity and help build that, even for the future. And so there's nothing legally that would preclude us from doing that, right? We could set up an account and ask the community if they wanted to support whatever the option is, and look at that as another way to build additional funding.
Yeah,
well,
that's all
even for a
very
long term.
possible, and it's stuff we can talk about in the future.
Okay.
But for right now, all we're talking about is to pick an option or a combination of options and say, let's take that to 30, let's take that to 60, and let's get a design, let's get a better cost. That thing with the trees, the blurry tree to the clean tree, I mean, as we do more work on it, we will have more information about costs. And that's one of the reasons we want to do all the designs. We want to get better costs as we go forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lawson.
Can you explain full build out, what that phrase means? You're designing to full build out, or full build out is when the construction would happen?
Yeah, when you, in the recreational options,
You're
when you.
explaining it to the football player, so, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some other.
Okay, you
people
go
that
off
are not-
tackle. No. No, what, if you look at, could you go to the next one? I guess would be a good one to do this. There's all these different line items, right? And so some of these line items are optional. There's two of them on this one, for instance. There's a optional elevated walkway and an optional step spillway kind of amphitheater thing. So both of those are options. They're 1.5 million each. We can go ahead and start designing those right now, but those can be taken off pretty easily.
Full build out would mean all the options are included.
Yeah, like the lighting. We don't have to do the lighting
I
right
think
away.
that was a hard concept to understand just on its
Okay,
face.
okay. Did
Full
it
build
meet
out
the
means-
football?
No, it just, I want to be clear that that's what it meant. It includes all the options. We don't necessarily have to do all the options.
No,
at
and
the end of the day.
I would say that probably at some point we cross out certain options. We've already crossed out the bridge before you guys even had a chance to vote on it. So, I mean, we're trying to bring along things, and if it's something that's like, you're beyond the point of return, you can't really easily exit out, we'll talk about that, but these are easy to take off.
And just, we anticipate bonding to finish this project.
Bonding or a loan or a combination of both. We cannot, unless we really want to wait until like, I don't know, when I'm dead, beyond dead, maybe my children are dead.
Their financing is definitely part of this project.
Yes, we want to either bond or do a loan or do both.
Thank you.
And that will be talked about more on the 14th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Martinez?
Thanks so much, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the information. Just to follow up on that last question, and that's regardless of what design is chosen. The bonding
Exactly.
loans is for either.
Yeah, I could, in this case, that's the nature park, and there's two optional things. If you roll over to the other one, there's like lighting, there's seeded field versus roll-on turf, there's a lot of different options. There's a playground in there. So there's a lot of things you can take off without, destroying the design. That's what I'm talking about. Those numbers, the bottom line is a full build out with that option. But there's a lot of things that can be taken off
And
or phased.
from what I read in the agenda book, there seems to be alignment with what you heard in the community, what the TAC is recommending, and what you are recommending as staff for the Truckee River Flood Management to move forward with one of these options.
Yeah, I think that there's a strong interest in recreational access going on here. Very strong, passionate. People want what they want. So, and I think we'll maybe hear some public comment here, but I've been hearing, literally talk to hundreds of people about this at this point, and we've had 270 comments.
Have you seen this type of engagement with other items in the past?
Well, I've worked on dams, I've worked on rivers, I've worked on river restoration. I'd have to say the only thing that I had this kind of level of intensity on was when we did the Oregon Plan for Salmon and Watersheds, and we had the spotted owl thing going on, and we literally had the president and the vice president of the United States land at Portland Airport. That one had more. But besides that one, no, I haven't seen anything
Not
like
on
that
Zoom
since.
today?
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Ms. Stewart.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because for many years, I believed that this was a very important way to engage the community in the flood project as a whole, because many of our residents don't flood, or if they experience a flood, it's in an indirect way, like the airport closed or post office closed, those kind of things. Maybe have to route around their regular route. Many people do flood, right? And many businesses flood. And those businesses were experiencing, significant hits that's why you showed $2.5 billion impact. That's impacting somebody. It's just that there's a large percentage north and south that weren't getting impacted by river flooding. They're getting impacted by maybe overland flooding or out at Swan Lake or some other thing. But so I felt for a long time, no matter how this plays out, that recreation, you don't want to buy land and use it once. The opportunity for multiple use spreads our dollar farther. We get bigger bang for the buck, and it's so common to do this throughout the country, is to have multi-use of floodable areas. They do it next door, left, right, and center. All the states around us do it. And so even in Southern Nevada, they do it. So to miss an opportunity would have been a shame, but we're not. We're moving forward with something. And I'm just extremely pleased to see it, because the more people that appreciate what we're doing, the more support we give for the overall flood project. It's very hard to sell something. Let's take education. There's plenty of people that don't have children or school-age children, but they do believe in education for everyone. And so they're willing to pay more taxes. And I think they saw that vision when they passed WC1 to be able to build better schools for kids and so on. But they made the case, even for people that didn't have children and weren't going to directly benefit. And I think we have a similar situation. We have an important project, and we have people that won't directly benefit, but adding something like this, they can directly benefit. And at this scale, 10 fields maybe, or whatever we end up with, I think is really, really good. So.
Awesome. Ms. Hill, I see your hand is up. All you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just agree with my fellow board members that this is an incredible gift for us to give to the community. And this not only meets the mission of the Flood Authority, but it also is an incredible amenity that we really can't invest in any other time. And speaking to voters at the door, they are telling me, I don't mind the growth of Northern Nevada, Alexis, but I wish we saw more amenities as part of it. And one voter in particular told me I have to wait until 11 p.m. for field time with my soccer team. And, the kids get priority, which makes sense, but I'm here also for quality of life, and I need to let off steam. And so I think investing in these fields is an essential thing for this board to do. And I am also with Commissioner Andriola about how this board can help fundraise, and I will absolutely commit to helping with that as well. So I just want to commend the team, and the presentations were fantastic. And this is a really exciting project to be part of. And I also want to commend Councilwoman Dewar. I know she has been working on this before she became an elected official, and the fact that she gets to vote on this before she leaves office as a councilwoman is just really special. And I just want to commit my thanks to her for really laying the groundwork for us to be able to do this today. So thank you.
Okay, I got tears in my eyes.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Hill. You have another one?
One more, yeah.
Mr. Lawson.
You mentioned that this could be turf or grass. I can't imagine that it can be turf for $25 million.
I meant roll-on turf versus a seeded, not
Artificial.
AstroTurf.
Not artificial, because, I'm just looking at cost of Golden Eagle is $30 million.
Yeah, no.
With CPI,
yeah,
we're looking at $46 million just
Right.
for that complex.
Right. No.
Okay.
Plus, you're at the river. I mean, you've said to us it's not appropriate in this flood zone,
Right.
the AstroTurf.
Yeah,
think
there's
AstroTurf
rubber
adds a
that
whole
comes
nother
up,
dimension of
you know,
problems.
that's not what we're looking for.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I don't see any questions or comments right now. I'm gonna open it up for public comment unless you guys have anything else. We good for now? Cool. And we're good? We're good, George? Cool, then we'll go to public comment.
All right, opening public comment, we have Ms. Catherine Schmidt, followed by Valerie Anderson.
I didn't want to go first, but I will. Good afternoon. First of all, thank you to the Truckee Meadows Flood Management Authority, or the Truckee River Flood Management Authority group. A lot of work has been done on this, and I've been coming to almost every meeting. So I'm one of those 245 that has commented repeatedly. And I just want to say, and this is just off the cuff today, that I really encourage this board to consider more closely how you can take more of that nature park concept and decrease the number of fields. We don't need 900 parking spaces. We are the fastest warming area in the country. We need trees, we need nature. I don't hear anything about birds, about the impact on wildlife here. Rivers don't exist in just a narrow corridor. I understand the river part has been improved, but the impacts from lighting and trash and noise and, repeated use all the time, we're losing our natural areas along the river. And the 18-mile section that runs through town cannot be denuded further with more dumps and more parking lots and more asphalt. That's happening privately, but this is public land, and it's really important to make sure that we are maintaining spaces that are natural along our corridor through that 18-mile section of town. Nature needs connected areas. Oxbow needs to be connected to the next natural area so that the deer, the raccoons, the nature, the birds, the things that people love about our outdoor mecca include nature. Like if we denude the natural areas and keep making the mistakes we've made in the past, the industrial area, all pavement, we're going to be sorry, because this is the last, and I think that's why you're seeing so much interest in this, because this is some of the last public land along that corridor that we have control over. So my message is just scale back those fields, make them, maybe some, but not 11 from end to end with 900 parking spaces. Does that make sense? I just don't. I hope you take that into consideration. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. We have Valerie Anderson, followed by Bob Blackstock.
I'm going against the current too, although I definitely see the need for the sports fields in the area. But I was really happy to hear about the proposal with the J Resorts of putting in 12 soccer fields downtown, which seemed like a more appropriate place than next to the river. I'm president of the Northwest Nevada Bird Alliance, formerly Audubon, and obviously a lot of our members are very concerned about preserving wildlife and bird habitat. We've lost 3 billion North American birds since 1970. So again, I guess I would echo Kathy's sentiment that, if we could scale down the soccer fields and think about other locations that they can be put. I know a lot has been put into this already, so I understand the desire for that, but maybe even, again, looking at the lighting, have less lighting, looking at the herbicides and that are used on the field, looking at, yes, all those parking spaces. People can commute, you don't need 1,000 parking spaces for, all that pavement. So really trying to look at, if you're going to do it in the most environmental way that you can, and think about the other areas. I mean, what would we be without Galena Creek? park, which is so natural, where hundreds of people go hiking every day. And that Mount Rose Wilderness that was set aside years ago, nobody thought that we would need it, but we do. So, just thinking about the best ways to do that. And I am a bit concerned about all these additional activities. Okay, if we're going to do the sports fields, okay, but, dragon lights, and I mean, it's enough impact as it is, having the sports fields, let alone adding more activities. So again, if we can just add them in a responsible, ecological way, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Valerie.
Thank you. All right, we have Mr. Bob Blackstock, followed by Jim Shepard on Zoom.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Bob Blackstock. My wife and I live in West Reno with our 2 dogs. The following is going to be somewhat disjointed, but bear with me. There is a commonality with the various pieces here, and I'm strongly advocating for playing fields. I'm a businessman and also an engineer, which means I like solving problems as well as making money. One of the first jobs I had was being a roughneck on a deep gas drilling rig in western Oklahoma. That was one of the most demanding and dangerous jobs in the country, and I was on the rig floor right in the thick of it, mud, sweat, and heavy equipment. From that, I learned what hard work is and how critical it is to work with others. We are often told that the free market efficiently allocates scarce resources. Well, it is clearly not working here. That is, there is strong demand for more playing fields here in Truckee Meadows. However, that demand is not being satisfied by the market. Indeed, the developers don't make money on land they don't build on, which means they are not being incentivized to build playing fields. I used to work in Santa Barbara. One of my complaints about that city is that there are very few playing fields. That forced us to play on the beach, which was nice, but it didn't train us too well for playing tournaments on grass fields. It's been suggested that these playing fields will be just taxpayer-paid entertainment. Let me submit that it is much more than that. Let me reference here the Battle of Waterloo, in which Napoleon was defeated in 1815 in continental Europe by Lord Wellington. It's been said that that battlefield was won on the playing fields of Eden, which is to say that teamwork and leadership is learned on team sports. And it's those skills that are so important for successful businesses. Yes, there are numerous places for people to recreate in the Reno area, bike trails, hiking trails, skiing, and so forth, but none of those provide a way for one to participate in team sports and therefore to develop those team working skills. I played high school football, which I enjoyed tremendously, especially the esprit de corps and the camaraderie that produced. To an extent, my pastime.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
30 seconds, all right. To an extent, the ultimate frisbee, which is similar to soccer, but played with a frisbee. To an extent, the ultimate frisbee in Reno was started some 20 years ago by engineers at IGT. They wanted to get some exercise during their lunch break, so decided to play ultimate. I started playing ultimate in college, and that was nearly 50 years ago, and I still play several times a week. My point here is that healthy workers are productive workers. And in closing, please vote yes for the playing fields. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. All right, we have Mr. Jim Shepard on Zoom, followed by St. John Smith.
You're gonna mute yourself, Jim. We can't hear you if you're trying to.
Okay, I didn't realize I'd been called. I am also for the nature. Basically, 900 or actually 880 parking spots for 11 fields. That's 80 people per field. That's huge, way too much. Actually, we should only have one small lot for the maintenance and operation people. and not have public parking in the flood zone area. At this point, that would be a big help. We need better improved bike access to the area. I would recommend that the members of the board and the technical committee take a bike ride around from the Truckee Meadows Bikeway all the way around the proposed area and see what the problems are. So we need improved bike access to get in there and improved work with the wildlife. You're going to have beaver in there, among other things. You've got deer, you've got lots of bird species and they deserve a place for people to learn about these animals and learn about the native characteristics of the Truckee River. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. All right, we have St. John Smith, followed by Justin Cutler.
Ooh. Hello, everyone.
Hi, St. John.
Thank you for your time. Again, yes, my name is St. John Smith. I am the Director of Operations for the local nonprofit Green Vibe World. I am not here today to speak on behalf of Green Vibe, but just to announce that our nonprofit has been taking a lot of action over the last 3 years to help with the restoration of the bristlecone section of this land by cleaning it, removing invasive species, preventing camping and trespassing, supporting any other initiatives that are currently existing on the Flood Management Authority's land, including, the feeding of families through the own community garden that currently exists on the Kiwanis Bike Center or at the Kiwanis Bike Center, as well as promoting the importance of supporting local farming. And we also do this by guiding youth through these hands-on services and getting them more connected to nature. This experience over the last 3 years has really brought me closer to the remaining natural habitats that currently exist in our small town, especially along the Truckee River. And I just want to piggyback off of the other folks that are advocating for more of a natural area, but also to include that I am too in support of a recreational area, just not at the scale that is being proposed. I feel that it would do a disservice to our town and by removing a substantial amount of the current local farming that exists. So it's important to remember that this area plays a critical role in the Truckee River Flood Management Authority's floodplain system. This levee network here is essential for protecting that is proposed, is essential for protecting the homes, or more so the businesses and key infrastructure that can occur from a flood event. And any development on this land, in my opinion, should strengthen that purpose and not compromise it. Maintaining open farmland, wetlands, and natural soil absorption in areas, that are being proposed enhances the flood system's ability to function as intended, while also providing ecological and community benefits. And again, piggybacking off of the other people before me, the J Resort did announce a major new proposal for a large multi-field sports complex in downtown Reno, which to me seems like a lot more proper for this type of.
If you could wrap it up, you're right over your 3 minutes.
Okay, apologize. Here,
Sorry.
at the very end, here we have the opportunity to create something truly special, in my opinion, a space where farming and education, recreation, and nature can coexist. Some form of a school of nature. And the farmers that already exist on this land can also be teachers and mentors for continuing the invaluable trades of.
Okay, St. John, we got to wrap it up, but thank you very much
for your time.
All right.
Take care.
So we have Justin Cutler, followed by Richard LJ.
Hi, this is Justin Cutler. I'm the president of the High Sierra Lacrosse League. And speaking today with strong support for the recreation complex, for the recreation model. A couple of people, I just want to address something really quickly. A couple of people have mentioned the J Resort field announcement last week. These are 100% for-profit fields. Those are fields that the resort is building, and only 2 at a time. So this is a multi-year project. And those are 100% to put heads in beds, right? Like those are to bring in tournaments, outside entities. They aren't available to our community for practice fields. They'll be paid. You'll have to pay to use them. The primary purpose will be to bring in tournaments. So this is not a community resource. This isn't a place where our kids and our families can go and practice sports, play sports, participate in team activities on a regular basis. So that is a completely different beast. I mean, we're very happy to have additional fields in town, and we're excited about the prospect of tournaments. So it's a great step forward, but that's apples and oranges here. So I really believe, I spent my entire life working for the Wildland Fire Service, and 25, almost 30 years trying to protect open space. There's nobody, I'm an avid runner, avid mountain biker, avid fly fisherman. I mean, there's nobody that wants to see open space more preserved around Reno than me. But I do think it's really important to understand that adding fields into this complex doesn't take away from open space, doesn't take away from recreation in the natural environment. And what it does do is provide opportunities for our growing community. I think you heard it in the initial presentation. There was a study done where 45 fields short of where we should be for the community we have. And 10 to 12 fields in this project doesn't even begin to help with that. We need 5 times what we're proposing in this project. And then I'd also like to highlight the last fields added were 2008 in Golden Eagle, right? That's what is that, 17 years that we haven't added a field? I think that's reprehensible. Like, we must address the needs of our growing communities, of our families, and having fields and access to recreation is going to increase the desire of families to stay and participate in the community. So it is critical that we move forward the recreation model, full support from the lacrosse community. Really excited about the prospect of having a place that we can go and practice and provide opportunities for the youth and for the future generations of Reno. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, my microphone is, I think, running low in batteries. We have Richard L.J. followed by Art Rangel.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much. I have been advocating for new fields in our community for well over 20 years. It is an absolute fact that we are anywhere from 45 to 51 fields short, and this will have an impact, but not an overall impact. I started working with this project with Senator Durenson when he was in office, so that tells you how long we've been working on this. To this day, we have no major complex in northern Nevada, more than 3 or 4 fields. And because of that, we are not able to host any tournaments, 0 large tournaments. A simple 300-team tournament, whether it's soccer or lacrosse, will produce $150,000 in economic tax revenue for our community. This could make the recreational part self-sustaining. As it was stated, the nature park alone produces no revenue to maintain the complex. Using this complex with the 10 to 11 fields, which that is the number that is needed for a proper tournament, will produce enough revenue to help maintain the entire project. So both sides can benefit from this. There are still no real plans from Reno Sparks or Washoe County as far as building any new complexes. Clark County has 9 complexes down there that have over 10 fields each. And because of it, they are able to host some of the largest tournaments in this country. One tournament alone over 2 weekends brings in 1,600 teams and has an $11 million impact to the economy down there. So you've done some great work here. This is a situation where both sides can benefit, nature as well as youth soccer, youth lacrosse, flag football, rugby, anything that uses a flat field. We have to do this now because it's only getting worse as our community grows. As Justin said, the J Resort is a great project. I worked on that for the last several months. We've kept that very tight-lipped up until the announcement. But as Justin said, those will be for tournaments. Those are for bringing people out of town into our community for these tournaments. They're to put, beds and heads, create room tax, things like that. It's a great project, but it does not address our shortage of overall fields for all the flat field users. So in closing, do the right thing, vote for the both nature and flat fields. Both sides benefit from it. It's a win-win for both. Thank you very much, and thank you for all the work that you guys have been doing.
Thank you, Richard. We have Mr. Art Rangel up next.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to reiterate what I said earlier, just for the benefit of my council members, Martinez and Dorr. I did make a comment in support of the flat field alternative. I just want to, the one thing I do want to reiterate is how significant it is that we do something like this because of the need and because of, I'm really concerned about the budget deficits that the city of Reno, the city of Sparks, and the county all have. And it is to some degree, from my perspective, an issue of beds and heads from people outside of the region. I'm an outdoorsman. I love being, I just today went out and did a hike. But a lot of this, if this still stays a natural park, it's only going to be local people going there probably. If we start doing tournaments, and if we're 45 fields deficit, we begin to build the need or the amount of fields that we need for these tournaments. So I just want to reiterate that. And I also see this, if we start bringing people from outside of the region into the events at these fields, it exposes them to our incredible outdoors. I see this just as a catalyst to bring more outdoor recreation to our region. I'm in the process of trying to organize some cycling events here. I'm an avid cyclist. I've been cycling for a very long time, a lot of different places, and they also can generate quite a bit of revenue. All of us should be concerned about the budget deficits that are at our local municipalities. It impacts every one of us because they can't provide the services that they should be providing to us. So we need to be able to generate some revenue. A lot of it can be in the empty hotels and the effects relative to restaurants and things of that nature. So I clearly support your option number one. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Art. Does anyone else have public comment before we close the period? Seeing none?
We'll close public comment, bring it back to us. Any questions or comments from our board? Yeah, Ms. Stewart.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so sensitive to the folks that have advocated for full nature park and trails and so on. I'm one of those people that loves that too, right? I'm not out playing soccer, and I don't have children that are going to play soccer. But I think that in terms of our shortages of fields, I think it's incredible, both as a mental health improvement to our community, as well as economic development to our community, as well as bringing up well-rounded children. It's why I advocated for building a pool at Moana. It's for others, it's not for me. I know how important it is. I just wanted to say that there are ways to build these fields that are more environmentally sensitive. And I'll just list a couple things. The no AstroTurf, I brought it up with the Jacobs. With AstroTurf, you end up with microplastics. We're right by the river. If you go to a more natural way of building the fields, we brought in an expert called from Beyond Pesticides, a Washington, D.C. nonprofit that teaches people how to build soil and therefore better fields. And that doesn't require so much pesticide, if any. I also want to mention that the question of lights, I think, is a valid question. You know, if you want to retain your bird population in that area. So it's something they'll have to figure out. But I don't want us to like skip over it and just say we're doing fields in a traditional way. And then lastly, about the parking, there's permeable parking surfaces that are not asphalt and hardscape. They might need to get an exemption from the City of Reno standards to build that kind of parking lot, but I think people should push for that. We're right by the river. It's probably a more appropriate way to go. So I think there are ways, I'm for the fields. I'll just be clear. I should have led with that. But I think there's ways to make the fields more environmentally sensitive and more sensitive to the area in which they're being built. So if we can keep that in mind, I think we'll do everyone a favor. So thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Stewart. Anyone else? Ms. Hill, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was hoping Ms. Dewar would finish that statement, and I agree with the permeable parking. I think there's a real opportunity. I know it costs more money, but looking at that for the future, because we may not need that parking once we get better public transit and more densities in that area. But and we could eventually make that a natural area. But I was hoping Ms. Dewar would do the motion, and I'd be happy to second it.
Okay.
Cool.
Possible. I don't know if
Anyone else before we're? I don't see anyone, so I think
Okay.
if you want to go for it, Ms.
Yeah, I'll
Stewart.
go for it. And thank you for the opportunity. That's extremely kind.
I think Miguel might
Oh, you have it up?
give you the assist.
Okay, give me the assist again. Although your computer just went out. It's okay. I went through that in my earlier board meeting today. The entire business building at UNR, all the power failed. I was in the middle of a board meeting there. Thank you. So if the board would agree, I'd like a possible motion to move to select the hybrid nature park sports complex design criteria alternative as the basis for advancing the Rock to McCarran design project to the 30% and then 60% design level.
Second.
Ms. Hill?
Second.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry, I think I talked over you.
No worries.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, please vote. Or all in
Aye.
favor, say aye, sorry.
Aye.
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 Aye as well. Any opposed? I don't think anyone. Okay,
Might be.
passes unanimously.
Okay, wow. Woo!
Congrats there.
Another big step for the Truckee River Flood Authority.
Yes, so we'll move on to item 7, public comment. Is there any public comment on this one?
All right, we're opening up the last public comment period. Anybody online, please raise your hand. Seeing none.
Anyone in person? I don't see anyone either. We'll close that. Move on to item 8, board member comments, request future agenda items. Anyone have any? Mr. Lawson?
I just want to tell George and the staff, thank you for all the time and effort you put forth on this. This was a big deal. It actually changed my mind with the things that you guys did. So I appreciate your hard work.
Wow.
Mr.
Awesome.
Chair.
Yeah, Ms. Hendrill.
I will echo that, but I'm also going to, again, recognize Councilwoman Dorr because I actually have said this before, but I met her when she was not elected and she was very devoted, right, to flood. And so I'm really glad that you were able to make the motion on such an integral project.
Thank you.
Ms. Hill beat me to it a little bit. So I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to recognize your hard work and dedication.
Oh, thank you.
And then I also want to echo, like, everybody, like, it's not, this wasn't just one meeting, this was a lot of meetings, and I really appreciate everybody's hard work and dedication. It'll be great to celebrate the project when it's done, but in the meantime, we'll just keep on going through the process. So I look forward to continued meetings and see how this all works. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
I don't want to belabor all the points that have been made, but definitely want to give kudos to this board for the past item that we passed. Thank you, Dr. Robeson, staff from TURFMA for getting us to this point. Thank you, JUB and Wood Rogers for the design and making sure that everybody was aware of what was going on, and especially to you, Dr. Robeson, for making sure that we had all those working groups and included our community in the process. I think along with this being one of the last natural spaces along the river within our jurisdictions. It's also very indicative of how much people want to see more recreation and youth sports in particular. So just wanted to thank you all for being sensitive to that and appreciative of the work that we do and just making sure that you heard all the comments that were made by Councilmember Dewar and keep that in the back of your minds as you're designing the next phases of this project. Thank you.
And I'll just say thank you. Everyone said everything, but this is a pretty watershed day for me. It certainly is. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Stewart. And I'll just add on, I think it's an exciting time for our board as a whole of things that we're getting done. Which it's been a while since we've been, in the news and so much, and it's exciting. Definitely a shout out to Shane and Andy for being here from your respectful organizations, as well as the amazing community input we've had there. I know we had a lot of meetings. It was exciting. I think all of our emails, we got a lot of emails from both sides. It was exciting to see that and have the whole community be a part of this. And then I think the last thing too is I want to give a shout out to Marty for helping to put all the public comment, all this stuff together. I know you're a rock star behind the scenes, and I just want to say thank you to you because I know it was a lot, and you did an amazing job with all that. So
Thank you very much.
yeah, so that's all I got. I think we're good to go. We'll adjourn today at 3:01. Have a good weekend. Oh,
wow.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Adjournment with the assist. Look at all these assists.